Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Great Britain that once ruled the world. And this picture is from yesterday. If you do not have a spine to upright yourself, Mr. Cameron, stand aside and go work for one of the many consultancies that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia operates, and where the government of Pakistan can buy an American Undersecretary of State for $1 million. The West is for sale. If this current leadership had been there, we would have been under Nazi rule, and Hirohito would have been the Emperor of India. And he wouldn't have left you with Netaji. Trust me. If you think somebody did a conspiracy against Subhash Chandra Bose, no, we were gun fodder. We have an enemy, and I don't care what we define the other side. That enemy is the people who believe that life begins after death. Now, some of you believe in that, but you have a return ticket. You might come back. My people just want to go and have a party there. And you can't stop us, because when I asked my daughter at University of Toronto how she compares the Hindu and the Sikh and the Muslim who are her colleagues in Toronto, she said something quite compelling. She said, "Dad, almost every Sikh wants Khalistan and would never like to live there. Almost every Muslim would like to have a khilafah, a caliphate, and would like to live there. Every Hindu young man wants to be a CEO, and every Hindu young woman wants to be his wife." I can assure you that not one of the Indo-Canadians of the Hindu persuasion is interested in anything other than personal wealth and accomplishment. If Mr. Cameron upset you, look at your neighbors and tell them, what have you done to stem this flow that nurtures itself in the land of the Indus and the Ganges and nowhere else? And I say that because the great century of Islam was between 1850 and 1950. When after a catastrophic defeat of immense proportions in 1857, the Muslim hard drive had been zapped and there was nothing on it. And they started afresh from Aligarh to understand, both in Egypt and India and in Iran, that wearing trousers, going to university, looking good to your wife, eating with a fork and knife, this whole worship of the past is going to lead you to the past. And they came out till 1950, when almost every Islamic society had one of the most dandiest set of politicians. In fact, the rogue Muhammad Ali Jinnah himself looked smart. The one single man who is responsible today for the catastrophe we face has not yet been identified. And he was born in the Indian subcontinent. His name is Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He created the first Islamic State. You should know that. But the Indians seem to have forgotten that the Indus does not flow in India anymore. You've conveniently withdrawn yourself to the Wagha-Atari border and said, "Yehi hoga Hindustan." Whereas Lahore, the city of Lord Rama, is not even in your hands. You don't have the Indus. Half your Punjab, that's the first word in your national anthem, is not in your hand. The Sindh that you talk about, most Indians think is Saraswati River. It's the reality that you have abandoned. And I'm addressing this specifically to an Indian audience, because this war will be won and lost in India, not in Arabia. Because, and I'll tell you why. Because it is only in India that a Muslim can stand up and address an audience and not fear that my neck will be chopped off. Why? Because Islam, Muslims and Hindus are intermarried to an extent that there is no provision for divorce. And the Islam of India allows Ghalib and Nazir Akbar Abadi and the great poets like Mir Taqi Mir tell God, go to hell. What the hell have you done for us? And yet survive. Bulleh Shah was from the same land where the Mahabharata comes. That's not a coincidence. And it's not a coincidence that the British divided the only part of India where the Hindu and the Muslim knew how to live together, plus added the Sardars, and you had one of the most amazing civilizations that thrived, and Delhi was just a mere shadow of Lahore. But you ensured that we were split because you created an Islamic State. And guess who came to the Islamic State as one of the first guests? The gentleman who refused to share the stage with Professor Pipes today is Tarek Ramadan. He chickened out. His father, Sayyid Ramadan, a Muslim Brotherhood grandson of Hassan al-Banna, was sent to Pakistan. It's surprising Indians don't know this. He was sent to Pakistan to craft the first Pakistani constitution. Who came to help him out? The grandson of a Polish rabbi called Muhammad Asad, who was serving the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. How was it not for the Bengali legislatures of the Pakistan Constituent Assembly? You would have the ISIS phenomena 40 years earlier. But we kicked them out. Because you sent us all those Urdustan people to Karachi to civilize the Baloch and the Sindhis and the Punjabis, because we were uncivilized people, you see. So you sent your elite Republican Guard to us, who created the Islamic State, who created the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, that committed a genocide in Bangladesh, and instead of using that catastrophic defeat to crush aspirations of an Islamic State forever, what did India do? They started playing bridge with their fellow Punjabi-speaking Pakistani military officers. Because the Bengalis couldn't speak Punjabi, he said, let them go. We're having a party here. Let's put on Pakiza. There are a few generals over here. I'm not off the mark, I'm telling you. The Bangladeshis are till today bitter that you let go 5,000 war criminals because Benazir Bhutto looks so pretty in Simla. You gifted Pakistan with 90,000 POWs when you could have said, they go back if you make Pakistan a demilitarized zone. You'll have 20 tanks for your National Day parade and 5 jet fighters to go over. That's it. You don't want them? We'll keep these. We've got about 1 billion Indians. We'll keep nurturing the 90,000 until they die. And they can go on the radio and say, hum sab khairiyat se hain. मैं चक चवाली से बोल रहा हूं. सुना होगा आपने. अब करना क्या है? वो लेनिन ने बड़ी अच्छी बात की थी. What is to be done? कुछ हैं यहाँ कम्युनिस्ट पार्टी के बचे हुए लोग? You never know. आजकल मजे की बात है, जब हम बच्चे थे तो कम्युनिस्ट गरीब होता था, उसको 100 रुपए महीना कहते थे होल टाइमर, याद है? अब जो मनहूस मिलता है वो साला मिलियनेयर होता है. Have you ever met a Marxist who's poor? This is a disease of this 21st century where the enormously wealthy young men tell their dads, I know Daddy wants me to be vice president, but can I take a sabbatical and go occupy Wall Street? I say, go. Then he goes 1 year, occupy Wall Street, gets 50 Islamists behind him, because nowadays you can buy them a dime a dozen. Then he comes back and he becomes vice president. It's all forgotten. In the meantime, he picks up a few left-wing Pakistani ISI activists, some of whom come to Aman Ki Asha parades over here. Others go to the United States. One of them is the closest ally, advisor to the next president of the United States of America, Madame Huma Abedin. Does any Indian know that? She was Saudi educated. She's never responded to anything of what she was taught in Saudi Arabia. Her father created the Mu'tamar Alam Islami. Nobody wants to question that. Her mother is a rector in a university of Saudi Arabia, where Hillary Clinton goes to say, I'm amazed there are Muslim women going to school. That's absolute delightful. No, you just got $20 million into the Clinton Foundation from these rogues. So it's easy to fight, but you will have to commit, and you have to get out of the paralysis of analysis, and you will have to say, and I'm addressing Indian Muslims, it is your cross to carry. You can't do it, you will end up as Zakir Naik, a fool that people come to listen to and live miserably ever after. Or you have the option to be Nazir Akbar Abadi and Mirza Ghalib and Dara Shikoh. You can follow the Islam of Bulleh Shah and declare yourself to be people of Hindustan who have decided to become Muslim, not people of Arabia who decided to rape India. There's a difference. And trust me, there are Indians today here, Muslims. If only they were willing to sacrifice the wedding invitations that every Indian gets every week. That's the only price you have to pay. And you're unwilling to give it. You're unwilling not to be invited. You're unwilling to be told that Mirza Sahab to bilkul hi pagal ho gaye. Maulviyon ko gaali dena shuru kar diye. And nobody wants to be known as that. So when the room is closed, when the mics are off, anytime there's a 100% Muslim population, I'm shocked half of them are atheists. The moment somebody else comes in, a Mr. John D'Souza or Vikram Shah or someone, they say, nahi, aisi baat nahi hai, hum pe bada zulm hota hai. We become pathological liars. Our friends don't trust us. Our neighbors don't want to buy homes next to us. Our children are being brainwashed in schools. When a Mumbai, if they are Maharashtra nationalists over here, editor puts into our Times the only Indian paper with the guts to print the Charlie Hebdo cartoons was a Muslim woman in an Urdu newspaper. May I ask where she is now? Hiding, jobless, penniless, hunted down. Where are those Bollywood actors, the great Khan brothers? Where are they now? Where are they now? A woman that stood up like a giant of a man and said, to hell with you, I will print the cartoons. She had no place to hide. Where is Taslima Nasreen and in the great refuge of the communist state of West Bengal? Who came up when she was being beaten up in Hyderabad? These are all Muslims of the Indian subcontinent. Why is there not a solidarity with the lone strugglers who are standing up with their lives on the line? I can't even visit Pakistan anymore. My brother had to change his last name. My sister doesn't own me. I've lost my family forever. And I'm not the only one. But instead of fighting the rogue state of Pakistan and dismembering it by supporting the independence struggle in Balochistan, what does even the BJP government of Prime Minister Modi, who I do respect and I support, what do? They keep inviting the same fools from Aman Ki Asha and bring them over here. Anyone who has met a military dictator, has honored him, should not be allowed to enter this great country. If you believe in the two-nation theory, you're persona non grata. If you want a visa, you need to declare, I denounce the two-nation theory of Muhammad Ali Jinnah, and I don't give a damn about that. If he can't or she cannot, he's not allowed. ठीक है ना? कोई गलत बात कह रहा हूँ राम साहब? Itni mushkil kya hai? If you want to leave Pakistan, they make you declare that you hate Ahmadi Muslims, right? There are no Pakistanis here, so how would you know? My daughter, who was 6 months old, had needed a passport. She had to declare that Ahmadi Muslims are Israeli agents, they're actually Jews, they're inspired by Hindus. And the 6 month, of course, it's like, just give me 100 rupees, we'll say she signed it. So she made a declaration at 6-month-old baby that, now, if you can get that done, if Natasha's, by the way, she's coming tomorrow to India, she should have to declare, as a Pakistani-born person, that I hereby declare and denounce the racist two-nation theory that amputated the two limbs of historic India. And I beg for, well, I don't need to, but if I was in charge, I would say, and I beg forgiveness for the crimes committed by my ummah. Because I do take ownership of Arabs did great things, Muslims contributed great to mathematics. Yeah, you stole it from one guy, gave it to another, and cut the commission in between. I'm sorry. You wiped out the Egyptian language. You made Egyptians into Arabs overnight. You are anti-India because you couldn't, after 700 years of trying, break the will of the Indian people. Not even the Muslims of India wanted to speak Arabic. Of course, they threw in the script, and everybody now thinks if you can read the Persian script, you're an intellectual. If you just live up to Devanagari script, you're just one of those ordinary, So here's I'll conclude. I know I'm pushing the limits. We have to, as people looking to save Western civilization, trust me, Chinese, Indian, Egyptian, Roman, don't care. The civilization that gives me the insulin that keeps me alive, the civilization that allows my daughter to travel alone in an aircraft that never existed in other civilizations, the civilization that gives you the phone to 20 or 800 million Indians or however, is the civilization that we have to fight for. Somebody yesterday suggested of going back to Bhutan. No, no one's applying for immigration to Bhutan. Is there anyone here? No. They're going for immigration to Germany. Not even the goddamn refugees want to go to Bhutan. They don't even want Slovenia or Croatia. They want the best. Germany and Sweden. That's where they want to go. So that's the civilization. The French and American Revolution, the Canadian Constitution. That's what the future of humanity should be, where individual human rights and the right to leisure and pleasure are not associated with guilt. To fight that, you will have to make room for Muslims to be able, because it is our fight. You cannot do it. The moment you open your mouth, you will be called an Islamophobe. But the moment I discuss it, the most they can say is, गद्दार है. हम तो हैं गद्दार, अंग्रेज के थे, तो अब तुम्हारे हो गए. इसमें कोई शर्म की बात नहीं है. So, number one, as Indians, you need to make room in your homes and hearts for an independent Balochistan. You cannot have your holiest temple over there and abandon it just because going there would be tough. You don't need to do that. Do you know that not a single Baloch exile has ever visited India because India doesn't allow them to come here? Can you imagine that? You've got people with Hurriyat conference living in your midst. You've got traitors by the dozen. You feed them, you plant them, and your friends are your enemies, and your enemies are your friends. Is this Indian civilization? There's something rotten about it. You've got to support the Kurdish. You've got to stand up and bring it to the United Nations that there are countries being occupied that need freedom. It's not just Gaza. Western Sahara by Morocco, West Papua by Indonesia, Kurdistan by Turkey, Iran, Iraq, and Syria, and Balochistan by Pakistan and Iran. You got to return this fight on their terms, on our terms, not their terms. Why don't they blow up Islamabad if they have a case of oppression? Because every day Pakistan army kills about 50 Baloch. The Turks are bombing the Kurds while telling the Americans they're bombing ISIS. We need moral clarity, but above all, a spine that David Cameron, as I showed, does not have. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Fateh. I think I would recommend to Ram Madhav that you arrange for a slightly extended stay for Mr. Fateh. At least I want to expose him to Indian television viewers. I think that will be a particularly thing. That will be a wonderful corrective to the discourse which has taken place.